Out of the over 36 million people in Canada, 1 in 5 will experience some form of mental illness in their lifetime. This means over 7 million people. This is true for every Canadian, regardless of their age, their gender, their education, and their income or culture. By age 40, about 50% of the population will have experienced or had experience with some kind of mental disorder. Different disorders are caused by different factors, but these factors usually share a common cause, such as biology, psychology, and environmental. The most common cause is genetics. Mental illnesses are sometimes passed down in a family. This suggests that people whose family member or members have had a mental disorder in the past may be more likely to develop one themselves. Psychology also plays a role. Severe psychological trauma, especially those suffered as a child, such as emotional, physical, or sexual abuse. Environmental factors that include stress-inducing situations can also be a cause. Death or divorce, low self-esteem, jobs, and schools are examples of this. To help you better understand mental illnesses and how the various forms affect individuals, the next part of the video explains the common and uncommon forms of mental illness in details. Starting with anxiety disorder. Anxiety disorder is a mental illness that has many parts. The different types of anxiety disorder include phobia. Phobias are extreme or irrational fear or aversion of something. Phobia does not just signify fear. Everyone is afraid of something, but this fear does not disrupt a person's life. A phobia, on the other hand, disrupts people's lives. It forces them to change the way they live in order to avoid the cause of their phobia. Phobia can constitute a wide range of fears. Fear of spiders, fear of snakes, fear of heights, the list goes on. The next is panic disorder. Panic disorder is another form of mental illness. A panic disorder defines repeated and unexpected panic attacks. It is comparable to having someone suddenly jump out at you. It creates a sudden, intense fear that lasts for a short time. All of the feelings of an unexpected scream, such as a racing heart, shortness of breath, and nausea, are part of a panic attack. However, with panic, this feeling is constant and occurs with no provocation. Agoraphobia is a disorder that is caused as a result of the above disorders. It is a fear of being in a situation that one has no control over and is unable to escape. People with feelings of anxiety or panic disorder commonly have this disorder because they are afraid they will experience an attack. This leads to avoidance of public places and, in some extreme cases, fear of leaving home. The next is generalized anxiety disorder. Generalized anxiety disorder is one that affects every individual, but to a lesser degree. It entails an excessive worry over minor problems. The anxiety can cause severe complication on a person's health. It can also cause physical symptoms, including difficulty sleeping and muscle tensions. Obsessive compulsive disorder is characterized by unwanted urges, thoughts, or images that result in anxiety. It usually causes distress and takes a long time to overcome. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, occurs after a scary or traumatic event. This can include abuse, accident either by witnessing or experiencing it. Symptoms include reliving the traumatic experience through nightmares and flashbacks. Anxiety disorders, such as the ones previously shown, are mental illnesses that can have significant impact on people's lives. They affect people based on a variety of uncontrollable factors. The chances of developing an anxiety disorder can be more or less likely depending on our outlook on the world, but most of the time it is just a matter of luck. People who have a disorder might get the feeling that it is a problem they have to deal with alone, but this isn't true. It is very important for people to seek medical help when symptoms are experienced. It is also important to remember that the problem is no one's fault. An individual experiencing some form of anxiety is not to blame. Be patient. Some of these individuals need more time than normal. Mood disorder, also called affective disorder, is the persistent feeling of sadness or periods of feeling overly happy and rapid changes between both feelings. Suicide is the biggest threat to those suffering from mood disorder. 10 to 15% of people who have been to the hospital because of depression commit suicide. Mood disorder affects over 5 million Canadians. Similar to anxiety disorder, children, adolescents, as well as adults are at risk of mood disorder. Mood disorders can be categorized into two major types: depression and bipolar disorder. Depression is defined as a mental illness that affects the way a person feels. It creates constant feeling of sadness, worthlessness, hopelessness, guilt, and anxiety. Some, some depressed individuals feel angry or irritable. It drastically changes a person's life by making it hard to concentrate, learn, make decisions, and generally people lose interest in things they used to enjoy. Most importantly, depression affects the ability to eat and sleep. This can cause serious health problems from lack of proper nutrition. Based on age and sex, people can experience depression in different ways. For females, depression is focused more on sadness, while males are typically more irritable and angry. Bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder is similar to depression in the sense that it also heightens the mood. Bipolar disorder, however, causes episodes of mania and depression. Depression as a result of bipolar disorder is the same as other forms of depression. Mania, on the other hand, creates an higher mood than is normal for the person. It causes people to be hyperactive and feel like things are going really fast. Unlike depression, episodes of mania causes extreme happiness, confidence, and power. This leads to risky and spontaneous behavior. After episodes of mania, individuals are able to live normally. For some, depression mania occurs regularly with periods of well-being, while others prolonged sadness or cause the effect, and without them. Fear has others for will think. For people experiencing mood disorders, it's very important to seek help. It is a real illness and it can and has been treated. Mood disorders makes it very hard to seek help, but with care and counseling, it can be properly cared for. Psychotic disorder. Psychotic disorder involves distorted awareness and thinking. People with psychotic disorder lose touch and experience a number of extreme symptoms, including hallucinations and delusions. Schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is described as one of the most puzzling mental illness. It is an aspect of psychological disorder. It affects a person's ability to think and to determine what is real and what is not. Hallucinations, hearing or seeing things that are not real, and delusions, believing things that are not real, are symptoms of the illness. Schizophrenia leads to social withdrawal and disturbed thinking. People affected by schizophrenia are typically feel that things around them do not feel right. This then leads them to trouble concentrating, thinking, or communicating clearly. As the illness advances, the individual begins to experience breaks from reality. These breaks are called psychosis. During psychosis, hallucinations and delusions occur. It may also lead to change in mood and motivation. Schizophrenia affects people in different ways, and everyone is at risk of it. Common causes of it are genes and life events. There is no cure for schizophrenia, but there is treatment. The best chance of recovering or reducing the effects and managing the illness is early treatment. There are medication as well as counseling available. The next disorder is impulse control. Impulse control disorder is most importantly, depression affects the ability to eat and sleep. This can cause serious health problems from lack of proper nutrition. Based on age and sex, people can experience depression in different ways. For female, depression is focused more on feelings of sadness, while male are typically more angry and irritable. Bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder is similar to depression in the sense that it also heightens the mood. Bipolar disorder, however, causes episodes of depression and episodes of mania. Depression as a result of bipolar disorder is the same as other forms of depression. Mania, on the other hand, results in higher mood than is normal for the person. People tend to be hyperactive and feel like their thought is racing. Unlike depression, episodes of mania causes extreme happiness, confidence, and power. This leads to risky and spontaneous behavior. After episodes of mania, individuals are able to live normally. For some, depression or mania occurs regularly, with periods of wellness in between, while others experience prolonged feelings of wellness and short, rare feelings of depression or mania. Mood disorders are caused by the same factors as anxiety disorder. They are challenging to those they affect because they usually feel trapped and blame themselves for their feelings of depression. They fear to ask others for help because they don't know how people will think about them. For people experiencing mood disorders, it is very important to seek help. It is a real illness and it can and has been treated in many cases. Mood disorders make it very hard to seek help, but with care and counseling it can be properly cared for. The next form of disorder is psychotic disorder. Psychotic disorders involve distorted awareness and thinking. People with psychotic disorder lose touch with reality and experience a number of extreme symptoms, including hallucinations and delusions. The most common form of this is schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is described as one of the most puzzling mental illnesses. It affects a person's ability to think and determine what is real and what is not. Hallucination, defined as hearing or seeing things that are not real, and delusions, believing things that are not real, as symptoms of the illness. Schizophrenia leads to social withdrawal and disturbed thinking. People affected by schizophrenia typically feel that things around them do not feel right. This then leads to trouble concentrating, thinking, or communicating clearly. As the illness advances, the individual begins to experience breaks from reality. These breaks are called psychosis. During psychosis, hallucinations and delusions occur. During psychosis, hallucinations and delusions occur. It may also lead to changes in mood and motivation. Schizophrenia affects people in different ways and everyone is at risk of it. Common causes of it are genes and life events. There is no cure for schizophrenia, but there is treatment. The best chance of reducing the effects and managing the illness is early treatment. There are medications as well as counseling available. Impulse control disorder is also another form of mental illness. Diagnosis of impulse control disorder usually occurs in the late adolescent to early adulthood. It is characterized by loss of control, cravings, and release and rush produced by performing certain behaviors. The disorder consists of three main parts. The first part is intermittent explosive disorder. This is a category of impulse control disorder that creates an exaggerated response to situations. This can be seen in the form of constant temper tantrums, or episodes of explosive rage. Episodes can result in violence, physical harm, rage, and aggression to individuals. These episodes last a short period of time, usually around a period of 30 minutes, and it usually comes with no warnings. The next is kleptomania. Kleptomania creates the urge to unnecessarily steal things that are not even needed. After stealing an item, individuals may feel guilty and keep the item in storage without any plans of using it. Individuals also tend to give them away or return them to the place they were stolen from. The stealing is not really about the item, it is about the urge to steal and the lack of control over the urge. People who suffer from kleptomania are more likely to run into trouble with the law. The last form is pyromania. Pyromania describes an individual who repeatedly and deliberately set fire. Those suffering from this disorder have an attraction or obsession with fire, and setting a fire tends to bring them relief and pleasure. The action does not have any motive except the compulsion, or in some cases the need to set fire in order to expel their building tension. Pyromania is a disorder that affects a small amount of people, but those affected are usually misunderstood as rebels. The disorders I just spoke about are some of the most common ones in the world. It is important to learn about them and how to deal with them, because there are people in real life who suffer from them and are misunderstood because of them. The purpose of this video is to raise awareness to the different illnesses, because awareness is the best way to help people who suffer from them. The illnesses I spoke about in this video are only a fraction of those affecting people in the real world. So I encourage you to learn more about the rest and share this video with your friends, because it's also very important for them to know about it. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.